As pilots, we constantly learn. Some days you learn a lot more than others. Today's training flight to KDZB, KAQO, especially KAQO and KLZZ, had some hard truths I had to learn about my pilotage. While I could archive this video and the embarrassing lessons, I thought it would be a good opportunity to share with others some of those truths. The biggest truth of all, I don't acknowledge different phases of flight near enough, and that makes me indisciplined in my usage of checklists.
All right, so welcome everyone on board. We are just going to be doing a training flight this morning, and we're going to be going over to Horseshoe Bay, then on to Llano, and then over to Lampasas, and then back here to Lago Vista. So we're going to be doing some landings along the way, and just making sure that we keep currency. So as usual, before we get going, we're going to be listening to the weather here in Lago Vista, and the AWOS or ASOS is 119375. I usually put that down on the bottom here.
25 Celsius, dew point 21, altimeter 2996, remark, density altitude 2,700.
996. I'm going to set that in both.
Lago Vista, Rusty Allen, Airport, automated weather observation, 1151 Zulu, weather, wind 230 at 6, visibility
230 is basically a crosswind because
clear,
we have 15 and 33 available.
1,000, temperature 25 Celsius, dew point 21, altimeter 29.
Once we put the altimeter in, we check that we're within 75 feet of the airport elevation, and we are. The airport elevation here is 1,330. We're 1,330 on the dot on both altimeters. Because I'm going to be doing a little training flight, I'm just going to go ahead and put in all of my airports. And my Garmin 430. And the last one here is Lampasas, which is KLZZ. All right. And then since I'm coming back here, I'm just going to I'm going to go ahead and put the airport code here, airport identifier here. That's Kilo Romeo Yankee Whiskey. For those of you who don't know Lago Vista. As a backup, I usually just go ahead and put in KRYW, which it's already found it. Just in case I have to hit direct and enter to come back to this airport. Alright, so about our altimeter, we're going to perform essentially the taxi checklist, which is as a flow. I usually, because I taxi out to runway 15 for departure, it's a little bit of ways from here. I just go ahead and lean the mixture and turn the boost pump on, make sure my flaps are up, make sure my lights are on so people can see me coming. And once we get down there, we're going to do our run-up. So we're going to go ahead and taxi right now. While I'm doing that, I generally just make sure, I'll basically do an initial systems check here. My oil temperature is already up, my oil pressure is up and still in the green. My altimeter 2 light is, not my altimeter, but my alternator light 2 is on because below 1700 RPMs, that alternator not activated. So the number 2 alternator that should go off during the run-up. I'm making sure that my directional gyro is turning, or my compass is turning while I'm turning in the opposite direction, and make sure that those align. And because I'm entering an active runway here at Lago Vista, I'm going to essentially make an announcement. Lago Vista Airport, Cirrus, White Cirrus, 62 Charlie Hotel, entering an active back taxi runway 15 into the run-up area, Lago Vista. Clear left, clear right, nobody's coming in, so I'm going to head down to runway 15. It's a beautiful airport near Austin, Texas. The airport elevation is 1,230, about 1,300. We call this one of the only mountain airports in Texas, even though there are a few other airports that are, in terms of elevation, they're pretty close. Horseshoe Bay, for example, which is one of the ones we're going to go today, is about 1,100. I'm looking down the end of the runway there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I see deer. You always have to be careful of them on the runway. Make sure that when you're taking off, pay close attention, especially when you're doing a morning flight like this. And let's just go announce and tell people that we're off the runway here. Lago Vista Airport, Cirrus 62 Charlie Hotel, and exited the active in the run-up area, runway 15, Lago Vista. So you always have to make sure that you look out for those deer on the runway when you're taking off, especially in the early morning here or in the later evenings when they are usually pretty active. All right, since my MFD is up and running here, I'm going to start using that instead of my my phone. I have a checklist on my phone. I go down to before takeoff here, and I just want to make sure the doors are closed. You guys, doors are closed, and then CAPS handle is out. I usually have it out because it's part of my key. Seat belts, you guys have your seat belts and shoulder harness on. Fuel quantity, I'm going to keep it on the left side right now because I had more fuel when I was checking it earlier. Fuel pump on, my mixture is rich, my flaps are 50. Usually I do those 3 sessions because it's part of my flow. My transponder is set to 1200, which is the common transponder code, or VFR transponder code, that is. I usually just do an autopilot check about once a month. The last time I checked a couple days ago, it did work. Cabin heat, defrost, brakes hold. We're going to go over to the engine page here. We're going to load up basically on all of the electricals because we want to make sure that all of the electrical systems are operational. I'm going to go up to about 1700 RPMs here. I usually wait for it to just settle in. So about 1740 is where we're going to stand right now. I'm going to go to left. We're down to 1670, so that's less than 150. All of the EGTs are rising. Go back to both. Let it settle back in. And then we're going back to right. Make sure that all of those EGCs are rising, and we're about 1680 here again. All my electricals look good. My annunciator lights are off, and I'm going to go back to both. And what I do here is I usually go to idle just to make sure that the airplane doesn't cut off. You're in idle. And then I go back to about 1000 RPMs here. I turn off my pitot heat nav. I'm going to leave my strobe and landing light on. I'm going to leave everything else is on. I'm going to go back to the checklist right now. So brakes, power alternator, pitot heat, nav lights, landing lights, annunciator lights, voltage, pitot, nav lights are off, landing lights off, magnetos were checked, engine parameters checked, power lever checked, flight instruments, that's my HSI is, my attitude indicator is centered, and all my instruments were moving when I checked it when I was moving. Check that our flight controls are free and correct. Rudder, elevator, trim set to takeoff, which I just did. Autopilot disconnect. Just go to the in-flight here, go to climb, and then I'm going to go back to my engine page. Alright, so now we're about ready to go. So, as always, I'm going to make a Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put my iPad on my knee pad here. My wife was pretty worried when I got up this early. I've never flown this early that she's seen. She just got back in town from Europe, and I flew a lot the last couple of weeks when she was gone, and I've flown a couple early mornings, and I love flying in the morning because it's a little smoother, and in the late afternoon it's a lot smoother. Not a lot of bumps to contend with, and it's just a more enjoyable ride. So, wanted to take advantage of the nice, clear, cool morning this morning in Texas before it gets to 107, almost 109 as predicted. All right, so. All right, we're going to be doing 1-7. Into Horseshoe Bay. Lago Vista traffic, Sirius 60 Charlie Hotel, entering the active departure runway 15, turn to the west, Lago Vista. Alright, Alright, when you line up, it's generally good to go through another flow if you haven't already done it. Usually I do it before I get going, but flaps 50, mixture full, rich boost pump on. My landing lights are on, my strobes are on, my altimeter is set, my seatbelt is on, brake pressure is good. I'm going to turn off my air conditioner temporarily here, and here we go. And instruments are green, airspeed is alive, I'm looking for 70. And then once I'm above 85 and positive, right, I'm just going to go ahead and put my flaps up. Get a good climb going. And I'm going to normalize. And then go ahead and turn west here. Lago Vista Airport, 060 Charlie Hotel, just departed runway 15, turning west 1,700 up to 2,500 Lago Vista. Alright, I'm through my autopilot altitude here. Pull back our power a little bit, don't need to be flying, well, no pun intended. And go to maps for some situational awareness here. I'm going to have to check why I have this strange noise coming into my headset, which means that you guys are probably hearing quite a bit of static. Alright, just go through my flow, my flow here, just make sure that my flaps are up, my boost pump is off, and that we are just going to go leaning back a little bit here.
Craddock Field, King Air 989, Lima Alpha, turning final 419.
Juliet, crosswind 2 stepwise.
Horseshoe Bay traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel, 8.5 miles to the east, inbound runway 17, Horseshoe Bay.
Hey Juliet, left base 27, full stop. Hey Juliet, final 27 wiser.
Horseshoe Bay traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel, inbound 5.5 miles to the east, 45 to runway 17, touch and go, Horseshoe Bay. Horseshoe Bay traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel, 3.8 miles to the east, turning 45 to runway 17, touch and go, Horseshoe Bay. Alright. Horseshoe Bay is one of my favorite airports to land at because it's at the end of the runway. It's pretty close to the water, so it's pretty much like almost a beach landing. Horseshoe Bay traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel on base to runway 17, Horseshoe Bay. Alright, slow down a little bit here, speed check.
Yeah, Huntsville traffic on the 565 exit to 4 miles off of here, then inbound on the RNAV. This will be a straight in, low approach only, Huntsville.
Horseshoe Bay traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel on base, runway 17, touch and go, Horseshoe Bay. Horseshoe Bay, 06 Charlie Hotel on final, runway 17, touch and go, Horseshoe Bay. Alright, a little bit more windy than...
That was the third try.
anticipated. Horseshoe Bay traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel.
500.
On approach to runway 17, Horseshoe Bay.
Taylor traffic. Ag Wagon 89 Victor is turning base final. Center pickup.
Horseshoe Bay traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel, departed runway 17, west turn, Horseshoe Bay.
Be back in 4 hours.
Alright, so much for smooth flight. We're going through a little bit of a thermal layer right there. But we're getting pretty good climb, making this turn over to Olano. That's KAQO. We're going to be going up to about, I'd say 4,500. So on approach right there, I saw a car driving to the approach end of the runway, and I didn't know he was going to stop, so I was had my hand on the throttle, essentially ready to do my go around.
What was the time on that pickup, you notice? $7:15 on.
So the reason why I am going the 4,500 here is in aviation and VFR, you usually, well actually in both IFR and VFR, you usually do odds if you're going east, odd altitudes if you're going east, and even altitudes if you're going west. So I'm going west right now to Llano, that's KAQO, and I have chosen to go at 4,500. While I'm climbing up here, a couple things I'm checking. I'm making sure that my fuel flow matches what the recommended fuel flow for my altitude is. For 4,000 is 24 gallons. We're at 23.9.
And Taylor Air traffic, Banner 289 Victor's departing airport area to the west. See ya.
So luckily Llano is still 122.8 for the Common Traffic Advisory Frequency, CTAF. So we'll stay right on this frequency, right into Llano, which we're about 14 miles out. Amazingly, actually, I think I can see it already. So, just to give us a little bit of time here, I'm going to pull back on my throttle, slow it down quite a bit. Going to 145 indicated right now, 160. True airspeed and ground speed. In fact, true airspeed and ground speed are exact same, which means that my wind is pretty negligible. Headwind, tailwind, no factor. Llano's right traffic, so we're going to be doing a cross midfield teardrop to run.
Good morning, Amy. He's out here north of the field.
17. So I'm expecting across.
Right at about 1,200, Amy. I think I'm going to come in and maybe wait a little while. It's almost IFR, really, almost.
Llano Airport, White Sierra 62 Charlie Hotel, approaching from the east, 9.5 miles east inbound, cross midfield teardrop to runway 17 Llano. With this airplane, when I'm doing close training airports like this, I usually try to slow it down so I have a little bit of time. In fact, anytime you need time in this airplane, it's good to slow it down. It can really get up there if you allow it to. For example, when I left Lago Vista, I was truing at about 176 at one point. That's how quickly it can get there. Llano Airport, Sierra 62 Charlie Hotel, inbound, 6.1 miles from the east, cross midfield teardrop, runway 17, touch and go, Llano.
Burnett traffic, citation 913 Delta Charlie, 20 miles to the north, be entering straight in final 19, into the traffic Burnett, please advise.
Citation inbound to Burnett, this is Bernie Unicom.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a rent car this morning?
Yes, sir, we do.
And the passenger's name?
Well, it's either under Coon, C-O-O-N, or Morrison.
Yes, sir. I have to Mr. Kuhn a car, and I'll meet you down on the south ramp.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Horseshoe Bay traffic, Golden Eagle 5 at 8 Tango Bravo is inbound. 20 miles, 19 miles out to the east, descending through 7,100.
Line of traffic, Sir 60 Charlie Hotel, crossing midfield teardrop on enter right downwind, runway 17, Lana.
Helicopter 5 out back what's off the west side of the airfield. We'll be operating on the west side within about 10 miles of the airport for about 10 minutes for human traffic.
Send helicopter island to enter the fighting altitude at 2,000 feet right now.
On traffic, Sir 60 Charlie Hotel, teardrop to downwind, runway 17, touch and go, Lana.
Burnett traffic, citation 913 Delta Charlie, 10 miles to the north, be entering straight in final 19, other traffic Burnett, please advise.
Burnett traffic, station Air 388 Uniform Tango, 20 miles to the north, following the citation, 8 Uniform Tango.
Frontwood traffic, Caravan 786, Foxtrot Echo 13 south-southwest, going to be entering a straight in for 35 Brownwood. Horseshoe Bay traffic, Golden Eagle 5 at 8 Tango Bravo is inbound, 8 miles out to the east, descending through 4,000.
Lano traffic, Sir 60 Charlie Hotel, on the downwind, runway 17, touch and go, Lano.
Frontwood traffic, Caravan 786 Foxtrot Echo is 9 to the south-south. east.
All right, speed check.
Straight in, 35 Brownwood.
Final traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel on base to runway 17, touch and go. Final traffic.
Horseshoe Bay traffic, only 58, Tango Bravo is going to turn right downwind, left downwind, 17, Horseshoe Bay, left downwind.
Lano traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel on final, runway 17, touch and go, Lano.
Station 913 Charlie, 3 miles, final, 19, Burnett. Other traffic, Burnett, please advise.
Horseshoe Bay traffic, only 58, Tango Bravo is turning left base, 17, Horseshoe Bay.
Lano traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel on the go around, departing out of the pattern to the west, Lago Vista, or Lano.
3 Charlie, short final, 19, Burnett. Any other traffic, Burnett, please advise. Burning traffic, station here, 388, Tango, left miles to the north, inbound, heading 19.
Lano traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel. We're actually going to stay in the pattern, landing runway 17, touch and go, Lano. Lano traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel on the downwind, runway 17, touch and go, Lano.
Horseshoe Bay, only 58, Tango Bravo, short final, 17, full stop.
Speed check.
Yeah, we have traffic, show me 8282 over Lofty BOR, inbound landing 13.
We got Charlie clear, 19, Burnett.
Lano traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel, turning base, runway 17, touch and go. Lano.
Land passes area traffic, RV 958, Lima Juliet, departed to the northwest, land passes.
Burnett traffic, Sears 58 Bravo Romeo, 5 miles.
Traffic, stationary 38, Uniform Tango, 6 miles to the north, inbound for landing 19.
Traffic, 71 Hotel is crosswind, 27 wiser.
Final traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel on final.
Wiser traffic, Scout 71 Hotel, departing the pattern to the southwest, wiser.
Aircraft north of Burnett, what's your aircraft type?
Stationary 206.
Roger, Burnett traffic, Sears 58 Bravo Romeo, 3 mile left base, runway 19.
There's eye view and eye contact, I'll follow you at Uniform Tango.
Final traffic, 062 Charlie Hotel, just departed runway 17, exiting the traffic pattern to the west, Lano.
Burnett traffic, Sears 58 Bravo Romeo, final runway 19, Burnett.
Burnett traffic, stationary 38, Uniform Tango, turn base 419, Burnett.
I made lots of mistakes today, and this is the reason why I shoot these videos. So I
Rainbow Field, 958, Juliet,
learn some of the things that I did wrong. I did quite a bit wrong today, luckily. I'm living to fly again.
Dimmet traffic, helicopter 5 Alpha Echo, 3 miles to the west-southwest, 1,300 feet inbound for landing, Dimmet.
Burnett traffic, stationary 38, Uniform Tango, turn final 419, Burnett.
Right base of 4748 Alpha, back station 34 for departure on 16.
Right base of 474 Alpha, taking the actor 16, land Paso, the right hand departure to the west.
So I have lots of little things to clean up. My attitude towards checklists obviously needs to be addressed, because I almost landed in Llano with my mixture exactly where it was during cruise flight. And when I realized it, I changed it 100 feet off the runway, which was a terrible idea. And that is the reason why I had to do one of those go-arounds. And that's what happens whenever you don't practice going through your checklist, thinking about the phases of flight. Luckily, nothing happened, but that could have been a situation I didn't have the opportunity to learn again. You know, could have destroyed the airplane, or could have hurt myself. And you know, when you're flying an airplane, generally you don't want to get into those situations. So definitely have a lot to clean up. The next time when I watch this video, obviously it's going to be pretty telling. And I'm pretty sure you guys are going to comment quite a bit about the use of checklists. But realize what happened. We'll fix the situation. I also have a couple of other, I'm actually just going to do a flyby to Lampasas here. I'll tell you why I'm going to do a flyby and not do a landing in Lampasas as planned. Whenever you get into a situation where you are questioning your abilities as a pilot, first of all, you should be confident in a pilot, but whenever you get into a situation where you're questioning your abilities as a pilot, essentially increasing the stress that you have while you're flying, no need to keep yourself in that particular situation if there's no need, if it's not necessary. So I'll go up to Lampasas here, announce that I'm going to be in their airspace, and I'm going to depart over to Lago Vista. I'll keep the airplane in the same configuration and head over to Lago Vista, land Lago Vista, and call it a day. and then go and reminisce on some of the things that I did wrong, obviously, and make sure that I cheer fly and fix them. We got to fix them, because you don't want to be caught in a situation ever in your life where you're not going through the proper procedures and you're not staying safe. So lesson learned on today's flight. It was a good thing I did today's flight, and I'm hoping that I will be better next time. Oh, I also forgot on that very last approach, the landing was great. It was great. But again, checklists, right? Because here's what I discovered, and you guys will hear that beep in the video. The autopilot was on during my landing. And that is also dangerous. One, the airplane is trying to do what it's trying to navigate, and you know, we were right above the airport, but no telling where the airplane is navigating to. And you know, it's just it was not a good situation. Not a good situation at all. Got to clean that up. Way to fix that is got to use checklists. Checklists. And I am going to use checklists. I'm going to announce myself here. Lampasas traffic, Sierra 62 Charlie Hotel, 3,500 inbound to Lampasas from the west. Gonna just fly by the airport, then head south, Lampasas.